She loved her horses, sand-colored heat lightning, horses with mean streaks and dreams in their eyes. She loved her horses with bone and flesh patterns. Horses were weeping, others gave soulful cries. Horses were weeping, others gave soulful cries. Will we remember when she falls to the floor? Doesn't breathe anymore. Doesn't breathe anymore.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fiberista Files. Today is Friday, February 13th, 2015. I'm your host, Heather, also known as Boudreaux Babe on Ravelry and Plurk, and Fiberista Files on Twitter and Instagram. I'm sorry, I can hear my dog barking at somebody outside. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. If you are, I'm hoping he stops so I don't have to bring him in. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you as always. You can find me at thefiberistafiles.com where I post all of my episodes. Not show notes because I don't do show notes. Sorry. I also have these episodes uploaded to my YouTube channel. It is Highland Handmades. And you can also find me on iTunes if you subscribe there. So feel free to subscribe. As always, ratings and comments are welcome. And I hope you're ready for a good episode. I've got a little bit of everything today, so let's begin. I'm going to go get my dog, and then we'll begin. Sorry, he's being a jerk. All right, I start off every week with Week in Review. It's been a couple of weeks since the last podcast. Per usual, we have not done a whole lot. It has snowed several times a week for the last 3 weeks. We don't have as much snow as they do on the coast of Maine. There's a town in Eastport that I think it was 11 days. They got 76 inches of snow. We've got about 2.5 feet on the ground, not counting snow drifts and snow plow piles. But it's been very cold. Temperatures as much as 20 below with wind chill. And very snowy. Just all the time snow. It's sunny out today. I think we've had 2 sunny days in the past week. It's really been very just snowy, wintry. And it's like we had bare ground before this all started, and in the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, we've had all of winter. I'm trying not to complain. I know everybody in New England is complaining. We don't have it here in the mountains as bad as a lot of places, including southern New England, like Massachusetts. Poor Amelia Bella is getting, and Wendy and Sheila are getting slammed with snow. Up here, it hasn't been too bad. We had 1 to 3 inches fall last night. We have 10 to 14 coming on Sunday and another storm coming on Tuesday that I haven't yet heard totals for. Like, it's just a lot of snow. Luckily, this past Monday was a clear day because my husband had to have another knee procedure done. Most of you know that he had knee surgery at the beginning of December. Well, he healed too quickly and caused scar tissue to form that was basically pinning his kneecap down, and it was prohibiting him from being able to bend his knee. And we tried physical therapy, really intense physical therapy for like 3 weeks, and he really didn't gain enough. So on Monday, they had to bring him into the surgical wing, knock him out, give him a nerve killer, a nerve block in his leg. So once he was asleep, they bent his leg several times really hard and snapped all that scar tissue up and then woke him back up. Whole procedure took about 5 minutes. We were in Bangor for like 6 hours. It's just ridiculous. He's sore and swollen, but he's getting about 110 degrees of bend where before he was getting about 76. So it's progressing slowly. Very slowly, but we've just been working on that and shoveling, and when it's really snowy and cold, all I want to do is hibernate. I want to sit my butt on the couch with my knitting and some coffee and just veg. Not good when you run your own business, but I know I'm not the only person who feels that way. I can't be. I'm sorry if the lighting is weird. My van is in the parking lot and the sun is bouncing off of the windshield straight into my face. So it's super bright over here, kind of shady over here. Oh, that's better. Woo. The sun will move in a few minutes, but anyway. That's really all we've done in the last couple weeks. I'm preparing for spa, which I'll talk about in processes, so that'll be at the end of the month. I was going to get my hair hennaed, which I've told you last couple episodes has been really embarrassing. That was supposed to happen on Sunday, but with the snowstorm coming Saturday night and into all day Sunday, it's not going to happen. So that's going to be delayed again. I'm very sad. What can you do? But I have knitting and spinning this week. I have no dye pots, but I'm going to talk about dye pots because I have been dyeing, just not for the update. I also have processes. I don't think I did do notes. Hang on, let me tell you if I have any growth. No growth, but I do have processes and grabby hands. I got some good stuff in grabby hands this week. So let's talk about the knitting. There has been knitting, and not only has there been knitting, there has been designing. I have been working on 2 of my own designs. The first one, why don't I start with this one actually? I showed you this last time, but I couldn't show you the bag because the bag had a twin that was going out into the world, and I was waiting for that to arrive at that person's house before I could show it, but I can show it now. So these are the Clown in My Closet socks, which is my design. It's not really a design. It's stockinette with like a little couple of slip stitches. The notes are on my original Clown in My Closet socks on my Ravelry projects page, and I will be writing this up as a free pattern. It's not complicated. So these are the socks. Maybe I should hold it with the toe down so it makes more realistic socks. I got about here, and then I had to rip out the original sock because I had put in only 1 stitch in between these slip stitches, and there should have been 2. Which is my mistake, not remembering my own pattern. The yarn for this is White Birch Fiber Arts, which is found at whitebirchfiberarts.etsy.com. They're out of Dover, Vermont. This is Diamondback in their base that is 400 yards, 100 grams of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And this is actually for my husband. These socks, you can tell, are quite large. These are knit on 72 stitches, and I get about 8 stitches to an inch on a US 2. So my socks are 56 to 60 stitches usually, depending on the yarn. He has big feet. That's the first sock. So this is the bag, and Paul made this bag for me. He got this fabric from Spoonflower. It is Supernatural themed fabric. If you're a Supernatural fan, you're going to understand the moose logo and the Hello Boys and the I Lost My Shoe, I'll Watch the Bees, Love Me Some Pie, Team Free Will. All of this is hilarious and makes a lot of sense if you watch Supernatural. If you don't watch Supernatural, you're missing out. Such a good show. Oh, sorry, I'm getting text bombed. Who's text bombing me? That is Rista. I'm going to tell her that she text bombed the podcast. Okay, so my husband got the fabric from Spoonflower. It has plain red fabric on the inside. My friend Lisa, who also got a bag, hers had Bobby fabric on the inside. And it says something like family is more than just blood or something. I opted for just the plain fabric. I love this bag. Love this bag. Love Supernatural. Love the bag. We all know I'm like big in the geek world. I showed you my Serenity bag the other day, a couple podcasts ago, which is actually what's housing my other design project. This is called Cat's Cowl. And this is the colorwork cowl that, it's a double knit cowl. So it's knit with one color on one side, a different color on the opposite side, and then they switch to create the design. This is my design. You can see it's a cornflower and then just some diamonds in between to sort of break it up. And the cornflowers are mirrored. So as I wear it and when I style it, this will be in the exact front and there will be a cornflower on either side. But it'll be round, so it won't matter because it's a cowl. Did I say that it's a cowl? I think it's called, because it's called Cat's Cowl. Anywho, I'll talk about what this design is going to be for in just a minute, but I want to show you the cowl. You can see I started it at the bottom, and the cornflower design is growing. Now, I do go old school with this. This is a pretty big chart for a piece of paper, so the squares are pretty small, so I highlight after every row. I'm almost halfway through. I just finished row 25 of 63. And back in there. I'm using 2 colors of Patton's Classic Wool Worsted, which is just stash that I had. This is Lemongrass, and the other color is Peacock. I had to learn how to double knit, so I I'd gotten a free coupon for a free craftsy class. So I took the free craftsy class of Alistair Post Quinn's Adventures in Double Knitting, I think it is called. And I did that before dinner, ate dinner, and then designed the cowl. And the next day I started knitting it. I think I can flip this to show you the other side without dropping stitches. This is the side I actually like better, the dark with the light. You can see my knit gauge and my purl gauge are different. And I think you can tell that like this fabric is a little bit like bumpy out. My dog is sawing because I hollered at him for barking at people. And then this side kind of is a little bit scooped in. It's just because my knitting tension is a little bit tighter. I think that will, to quote many a famous knitter, that S will block right out. At least I'm hoping that it will. If not, I'll just wear it the other way. The actual finished photographed one example will be white and blue. So it'll be a white background with blue cornflower. Cornflower, blue cornflowers even. But this is the yarn I had in and worsted, and this is what I wanted to do. The Highland. It's very squishy. Now, this is not going to be released for Highland Handmades designs yet, because it is part of a project that I am working with a friend who, the friend is a published author, and she wants to have a knitting companion book to go with her series of books. And so I am working with her on that project, both in design and execution. So that design is for one of the characters in an upcoming story. So that probably won't be available for purchase until 2016. That's okay. That's okay. We'll make it, I promise. And that, like I said, was in my Serenity bag, Firefly bag, that my husband made me. So 2 project bags that my husband has made me. This one my husband did not make me, but it is a gigantic Girl Cave Bags bag. Gotta love me Rista. She's the one who just text bombed me. And inside this beautiful bag is my Dagmar sweater. I started the Dagmar sweater in March of 2014, so it's been almost a year. Now this, I have been in the same black hole for about 8 months. And it was completely mental, the block, because I sat down last night and we watched the new rock version of Hercules, meh, and Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And I had it done by the time I was done with those 2 movies. It really wasn't that big of a deal. The Dagmar sweater is a beautiful sweater, but the pattern is problematic. It's not very well written, and there's no pattern support, and you just kind of got to muddle through. There's a couple places where you should be, you aren't at the end of a row, so you actually have to cut the yarn and move, and it's just kind of complicated. But here's the sweater. It has these traveling mirrored cables that go up the front, and you can see that the back is longer. You use some short rows on the back so that the sweater is actually kind of scooped there at the bottom. And these cables go up and out, so they go towards the outside of the fabric, and then they're supposed to start going back in. When you get to the outermost point, which is like, I don't know, where did I stop doing? Right here. Right here. It's supposed to be ready for the armholes. Now, for a sweater of any length for me, for the sweater to cover the fly of my jeans, which is, or at least the snap of my jeans, that's 17 inches from bottom of hem to armhole. I'm 5'9", I'm not a short girl, so that's 17 inches. And when I get to about here, it was not anywhere near 17 inches. This would have been a crop top. This would have been like an early 1990s midriff bearing weirdness, and that was not going to happen. So I actually ended up doing, you have to do 1 repeat. So I ended up doing 2 more repeats of the straight section just to add the length. I added some significant length to the sweater. And when I got done where I was supposed to change to work just the back, it was right where I wanted to be. It was right at 17 inches. So that was awesome. And so I have bound off for the armholes. You can see one armhole there. And the other armhole is here. This is actually the beginning of the round. Can you see that ridge right there? That little wonkiness of this, I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard to show this to you as best I can, but it's kind of big. That weird wonky bicker stitch is because this pattern is a row of pattern stitch, and then the second row is purling. I'm not purling half a sweater. Not to mention my purl gauge is looser than my knit gauge, so the sweater was going to be too big if I did. So instead of purling that row, I actually went one past the marker, wrap and turned, and then knit my way in the opposite direction. So I did the pattern row and then I did a row of knitting in the other way. And that worked out pretty well, actually. I'm pleased with it. And it went a lot faster. So I'm on the back now. I'm working the decreases on the back. You can see it there. And it's just this patterning. And then once I do the decreases for the back, I'll do the front. We'll see. I'm hoping to get this done before the end of March of this year so that I have a sweater that takes me, that I can get done within a year. I'm not Froggy Monkey and Darren that can knit sweaters like that. I'm a slow sweater knitter. The yarn is my black ash worsted. Now I've knit 17 inches of a size large sweater that's loose. It has a lot of positive ease in a yarn eating stitch, and I still have this much left of the first 2 skeins because I did double skeins. So I am probably gonna get at least all of the back and most of the front, if not all of the front, out of 2 skeins of yarn. This is the black ash worsted that is 300 yards per skein. It's 60% merino, 40% bamboo. Dyed in a custom colorway for myself. This is actually a slate blue that I did at like a quarter value. And it's a little bit light, a little bit semi-solid, a little bit light and dark. But I love it. And like I said, I haven't even started the second skein yet. No, obviously I'm not alternating. They were in the same dye pot, so they are of the same dye lot. And quite frankly, that was enough for me. And who knows, it may just be the sleeves that I need to do anyway. I'm pretty excited about that. So that has made its way out of hibernation and is working yet again. Okay, now I've done some spinning too. Sorry, take a drink. I began and finished the Keegan Lane yarn pony style Rolegs. I don't know if she calls these ponies or Rolegs. It's totally up to the dyer. I don't know how well. Come on, autofocus. Do your thing. It will focus eventually. These are the singles from the pony style Rolegs that I got from Keegan Lane Farms in the colorway Lily Pad. And I spun this as thin as I comfortably could. Now, I could have spun a little bit thinner, but to spin it thinner meant that I was going to really have to slow down, and I didn't really want to do that. So I spun as reasonably thin as I could. And this is mixed fibers, so it was conducive to that. Now, I really want to get a project out of this, but it's got about, I think she said there's a little over an ounce, which isn't really enough to do a big project. So what I'm doing is I'm plying it with this. This is some of my deep fiber stash. It is a sliver of 100% silk, and you can see the silk has, maybe you can't, the silk is kind of noily. I never know how to say that word. You can see it's kind of a little bit rustic. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's the way it came. And it's been that way for 5 years, 2008. 7 years? Oh, this is old stash. It's got to be more than 6 years old. And I'm spinning this onto a bobbin as well, about the same thickness. And with the silk, I actually have to struggle to thicken it, because silk wants to be spun so thin. I'm going to apply this blue with this pink and green, and I'm hoping to have enough to do a smoke ring cowl out of it. That's the plan. I really enjoyed Amelia Bella's Keegan Lane Yarns Rolegs, and it's good to get rid of some of that deep stash. Rista says, hi, people. So hi. So that's the spinning. Yay. I've just started the spinning of the silk. I'll show you the bobbin when it's done. It's not really much to look at right now. Okay, dye pots. I've been dyeing for spa. Dye pots have been full and busy. You can see I still have that box in my kitchen right there. And progress is happening. Slowly, but it is happening. Again, it's really hard to want to die when it's snowing out. I'm trying to get about 12 pans done a day, or as close to it as I can. I just did sugar maple sock yesterday and the rest of this Shetland. I think I have like one colorway of Shetland left to do. Paul is actually in my office / fiber studio right now, skeins silver maple sock. Knitting at Tiffany's, I finally have silver maple sock back in stock. I will be contacting you soon. She's been waiting for me to get that in forever. There is no update this week. There will be an update late next week. Check out my Instagram feed for that. Fiberista Files over there, and I will post preview pictures as well as information on when the update will be. All right, processes. Spa is February 27th through March 1st. Like I said, I'm dying for that. I will be staying at my parents' house in Gardner, which is about, I don't know, half an hour north, 35 minutes north of Freeport. We couldn't find a place in Freeport that we could take the dog. And Paul especially is really tired of leaving the dog just with my dad all day. My dad takes excellent care of him. My dad loves my dog. But he feels bad that we travel several times a year and we never take him with us. So he wanted to be with the dog, but there was only one place in Freeport that accepted dogs, and they only took dogs up to 40 pounds. So there was no place for us to take the dog. So we decided we'll just stay at my parents'. We'll come home in the evenings. The dog can hang out with us. We'll take it for walks, whatever. So that's what we're doing. Excuse me. As the added benefit of being able to hang out with my friend Monica, who lives in West Gardner. It's a good time. We stay at my grandmother's house. We're gonna get the place to ourselves. It's a good time. So that's spa. I also just filled out the online registration for Fiber Frolic, which is June 6th and 7th this year. Again at the Windsor Fairgrounds, which is always the first full weekend in June. At the Windsor Fairgrounds, which is west of Augusta, a little bit north of Gardner. Fiber Frolic is one of my favorite shows I do every year. I'm hoping to be in the same spot where I have been the last 2 years, right on the lawn by the information booth. We pop up a second 10x10 canopy and just put chairs and stuff in there so people can sit and relax and hang out with us. It's a good time. If you haven't yet made plans, you should make plans to come see us, June 6th and 7th. The only other thing I've been working on has been Highlands on the Fly. Now, I know you guys who have been to Highlands on the Fly are really ready to register. We are trying to wrangle the date down. Here's what happened. I am vending at Knit East this year. Knit East is in New Brunswick and St. Andrews, Nova Scotia. I think it's St. Andrews. It's at the Algonquin in New Brunswick. I think it's St. Andrews. Sorry, there's a lot of saints over there. Knit East is by far the most lucrative show that I've ever done, or was. I did it 2 years ago. They have it every other year, and they have big names in there. Yarn Harlot, Susan B. Anderson. They get all the greats together in one spot. I have to do the show. Unfortunately, it's the weekend we usually do Highlands on the Fly, and I can't be in both places at once. So, we have to move it. Now, October is a tight month. The weekend after the weekend we usually have the retreat is Halloween weekend, and plus it's cold. I really don't want to do it that weekend if we don't have to. So then we looked at moving it up. The weekend before our retreat is Rhinebeck. And the weekend before that, we're not sure if we're going to be able to get in, as far as it has to be, we tuck in at the end of tourist season. And I'm not sure if the tourist season is going to be over by then or not. My friend Sarah Hunt, who does all the actual organization, is working with the owner of the retreat center, NEOC, to work on the dates. It may have to be Rhinebeck weekend. I understand that will mean that some people may not be able to come, and I'm sorry about that. But it's either going to be the first or second weekend in October. That's the best we can do. Both Sarah and I really want to go to Rhinebeck. And Millie Bella and Lisa Fiber Nymph and Froggy Monkey have all said, you need to come to Rhinebeck. Come to Rhinebeck. And I hear you. I hear you guys. I really want to. So it would be ideal for me if we could do the retreat the weekend before. Again, we don't know if that's going to happen, but I would really like that to be the case. When I know the official dates of Highlands on the Fly, you will know. I promise you that. And we already have a greet bag in the works. We're already working on what's going to be in the goodie bags and all of that good stuff. So we're working on it. Promise. There is a Highlands on the Fly retreat Ravelry group if you want to join that so you can be in the know about what's coming. Okay, grabby hands. A couple of things I want to show you that I have received, and shoot, let me see if I can get it to show up on my Kindle. Sometimes I have to restart the Kindle for it to show up. And then I want to tell you about one other thing that's completely unrelated to knitting. So I decided to put it in grabby hands just because I like it. Let's see. It is, but I don't think it has a cover. Poop. Cover. Nope. Poop, poop, poop. Okay. You know that I have friendships with various authors, most of whom, at least tangentially, are involved with knitting. Both Penny Reed, who has her Knitting in the City series of books, and Rachel Herron, who has her Harbor. How to Knit a Love Song, How to Knit a Heart Back Home. I've read so many books with harbor names. I cannot recall the fictional town in which Rachel Herron's books live in. Crap! Anyway, Rachel Herron. Rachel, R-A-C-H-A-E-L, Herron, H-E-R-R-O-N. She's fabulous. Funny, great knitter. She runs the Yarn and Go-Go blog and website. She's a knitwear designer. She's fabulous and funny and plays the ukulele and wears red cowboy boots and is just delightful. Rachel has a new book coming out called Splinters of Light, and I've just received a beta copy to read and review, but that doesn't mean you can't also win pretty awesome stuff. I'm going to get online here. Sorry, I should have prepped this before I started talking, but I want to tell you what you can win because it's awesome. Where's my groups? There are more groups than that. Where are they? Oh, maybe it's a... Hang on. Okay. So, you can win some cool stuff when you buy the book. This is what Rachel has posted. In an effort to support my local bookseller, anyone who pre-orders Splinters of Light from Diesel Bookstore in Oakland will receive a note from my character Ellie and a piece of beach glass. If you prefer to order through somewhere else, sorry, I'm blowing this up so I can read it. That's okay. Everyone who pre-orders the book is entered to win one of 10 jars of marmalade made from my very own lemon tree, and a pair of socks, custom sized and colored, made just for you or a friend by Rachel herself. So if you order from Diesel Bookstore in Oakland, California, where she lives, you'll get a note from Ellie and a piece of beach glass. And if you order it from wherever, if you pre-order the hard copy, I believe it's a hard copy. It might be Kindle, though. You might have to check with her. It does not specify. You can win a jar of lemon marmalade or a pair of hand-knit socks by Rachel. So all you have to do is send the proof of purchase to info@kpublicity.com. That's KAYEPUBLICITY.com by March 1st. So you've got about 2 weeks. If you want to order from the local bookstore, the Diesel Bookstore, she has posted their phone number, and you can email them. If you go to yarnagogo, YARNAGOGO.com, you'll see it's called, the post is from January 30th, and it's called Pre-Order Temptation. And she has all the information there as well. Now, Rachel writes some pretty powerful stuff. And I am not joking when I say, girl knows how to pack an emotive punch. The last book, Pack Up the Moon, slayed me, but in the best possible way. Her characters are incredibly real and incredibly touching and incredibly relatable. Get her book. You're going to love Splinters of Light, I promise. I think Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls is talking about this, either has recently or will be shortly as well. I know Jasmine either has already finished it or is almost finished with it. I haven't yet started it because I have other books I have to review first. But I am saving it because I know it's going to be delicious. So I might save that for Sunday when it's going to be snowy and nothing's going to be happening. Okay, so that's Splinters of Light by Rachel Herron. I pre-order it and then email the publicity place and get entered to win. I win socks. Woo! Okay. The other thing I got are my club yarns from Yarn vs. Zombies. Colors for the Knitpocalypse. She's at yarnversuszombies.bigcartel.com, and versus is just VS. Kiki does amazing stuff. This is called Catch 'em All. It is a Pokemon-inspired colorway. It's on 100% Border Leicester cross, 220 yards, 100 grams. Very smooth. Feels a lot like BFL. Look at how bright those colors are. How happy is that? And then this one is Things That Glow from Mad Science. It is Giant Panda. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% bamboo, 218 yards, and it's a chain ply. And you can see that's very sort of glow-in-the-dark style coloring. That's awesome. Awesome. I think I just have 2 more skeins coming to me, and then this club's going to be over. And I'm so sad because I love Kiki's stuff. Love it. So squishy. And I have design plans for all of Kiki stuff, but could be years before that happens. All right, the only other thing I have left to show you is something that I made that is not knitting related, but I'm just so proud of myself. So if you just want to go now, no harm, no foul, but I want to show you my t-shirt quilt that I made this week. So I have been hanging on to old t-shirts, some from high school, some from college, t-shirts that I like the image or that meant a lot to me, but I would never wear out in public, or, you know, were ruined for whatever reason, can't be worn out in public anymore, don't fit me well, that sort of thing. And I made myself a t-shirt quilt. So this is the t-shirt quilt. You can see there's my SSK. Then, yes, I'm going to show you all the squares. I told you I was proud of it. It's at Breaking Benjamin, Sheep Thrills, my brother's in the Air Force. Then I got the tricky square in the middle here, so I have Labyrinth. These 9 squares were the chest emblems, and I took them all off and stitched them all up. You can see there's Gardner High School Pet Band. Highland Handmades. Old American Eagle shirt. Res Life. Oh, my arm's getting tired. This is heavy. This is from when I was on Wheel of Fortune. Yes, I was on Wheel of Fortune. That was a long time ago. Washington, D.C. Okay, this t-shirt is from my freshman year of high school when we went to Washington, D.C. with the band. Yep. I bought a 3 for $10 t-shirt. So I don't remember what the other 2 were, but that one survived. That one's the one I kept. And then Triple Dog Dare You, Where the Heck is Brownville Junction, Maine Herpetological Society, and then another college t-shirt. Now on the back, a lot of people put solid colors on the back. I was lazy and didn't want to separate the t-shirts, so when I cut the squares, I used this rectangle. It was 12 by 12 out of cardboard, and I just took a rotary cutter and I went around it on all 4 sides, and I cut through both layers of shirt. So the back is just plain squares from shirts, and some of the shirts did have stuff on the back, so you can see, hang on, I'll get to that one in a minute. Like on this one, you can see that's the Breaking Benjamin shirt, that's all the tour dates. This one was a gift from my husband's aunt. That was us from, my husband and I, from the weekend we like sort of officially became boyfriend and girlfriend. Not a shirt I'm going to wear in public, but it's on the back, just because why not? And like I said, most of them are plain, but I then took, I don't have it here anywhere. I got 100% natural cotton quilt batting, and this pre-stitching size was 4 feet by 5 feet because I used a 12-inch square, and I didn't give myself half inches for seams or any of that. But knit fabric is really stretchy, so anywho, it's a little bit bigger than crib size because crib size is 45 by 60 and this was 48 by 60, so it wasn't gonna work. So I got the twin size batting, which was 72 by 90, and folded it in half. So this has got 2 layers of batting in between the shirt layers, and then I just at every corner I just hand poked some yarn actually through there. Can you see it right there? And just tied it off. So it's sort of quilted, but not really. And then I did this really heinous job, this fancy stitch. You can see it's really uneven because my tension was not even, but just to sort of stitch it all down. That's my t-shirt quilt. That's a lot of talking. It took like 4 minutes. It took me maybe 5 or 6 hours to make this whole thing. I'm very type B when it comes to sewing. Things do not have to be perfect. Not even a little. And this is just for me. It's not for anybody else. Nobody else is going to see it. Not going out into the public. Well, I mean, you guys saw it, but you guys don't care. It sits on the couch with me. It's already completely covered in dog hair, and it keeps me super warm while I'm knitting. You're going to see a lot of upside down pictures of this quilt because I have it across my body and everything's on my lap. Love this thing. Man, this thing is comfortable. Sorry, I'm getting text bombed again. I don't know who it is this time. So that's all. I don't claim to be much of a sewist. Ah, Carolyn, CS Tom K. Just like text bomb. I totally lost your train of thought. Good job, Carolyn. It did take long. It's not particular. I'm not a great sewist, seamstress, whatever. I'm not a great sewer of things, but I had fun, and it used up a crap ton of t-shirts, and I'll take it. They're all out of my house now. I did keep the bottom parts of the t-shirts, those loops, just to keep for rags in the garage, but I got rid of a bunch of t-shirts. A whole great big LL Bean tote full of old t-shirts. Gone. Out of my house. Fabulous. And now I have something useful. So that's all I've got for you today. She's just bombing me now on purpose. And I will, until next time, guys, say, I messed that up. I feel like silly fruit every time I screw it up because she screws herself up all the time too. Oh my God, will you stop sending me pictures of dogs of shame? Until next time, guys, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.
Well, we remember when she falls to the floor, doesn't breathe anymore, doesn't breathe anymore. She was raised on the black earth and she was a farmer, had a long line of grandmas with mountains for backs. She could gather the chickens and chop all their heads off,